The 30th of May, Rabbi Levitt, Horeb.
Where did this month go?
What, Alan?
Where did this month go? It's over already.
Really?
Already the month.
Flying by. Flying by.
Okay, we're up to chapter 19. Kabbalah's Lashon Hora.
Listening to evil speech.
It's a no-no.
Oh no, it's interesting. Yeah, he's not talking about speaking Lashon Hora here. He's talking about listening to it. He has a different pasuk over here.
Yeah, thou shalt not give ear to an empty talk.
I don't remember that pasuk. Let's have to take a look at this pasuk. 23 Perak Chaf Gimel. Okay, let's take a look. I don't remember this pasuk. Okay.
Morning, Mayor.
Morning, Alan. Good to see you.
Same here.
All right.
Good morning, Mayor.
Morning, Rabbi Levitt.
I think
Okay,
it's
we are in we're starting chapter 19.
I think that first paragraph was a great paragraph.
Listening
Okay.
to evil, huh?
I'm looking up the pasuk over here. I don't remember this pasuk.
Exodus 23:1. Huh? Let's see.
Losisa Shema Shav. Very interesting. That's why I don't remember that pasuk. That's not the general understanding of what that pasuk is talking about.
Oh, yeah. It's a lot different. Well, the translation in the Horeb is much different from my translation. My translation says you shall not bear a meritless report. And Rashi says, do not accept a false report.
Oh, where's this Rashi? Losisa Shema Shav. Targuma lo tikabel shma the shikar. Ashara lemakabel lashon hara. Right out of Targum Onkelos. That's how Targum Onkelos explains this pasuk. Rashi's bringing when Rashi says Ketargumo, he's referring to Targum Onkelos, the definitive translator and expositor of the Torah. So there's many there's different there's different interpretations of shades of meaning and what this pasuk is referring to. But Rav Hirsch has got very good authority over here. Ah, okay, good. And I'm sure if we would look in the Chafetz Chaim, he would also list this as one of the numerous lavin that a person is in violation of when he's speaking or hearing lashon hara. He's got a whole list over there before he starts the sefer. Okay. So let's start with 133. We go to Alan to start off the reading. Alan, are you there? You want to pinch hit for Alan?
Okay.
Okay.
Do not listen to malicious talk which tells you something derogatory
How
about your
about-
brother or sister. If you have listened to it, do not accept it so far as to let it have the slightest effect on your love and esteem for your brother or sister. You know that your brother can have committed no crime so great as that which the talebearer is committing at that moment.
Oh,
And though he is in other respects most worthy of your esteem, at this moment he stands before you as a miscreant. You must not listen to him, much less give the slightest credence to his talk.
wow. Look at that. Yeah, someone actually, here we see that Rev Hirsch is making a very important point. You hear Jew number one speaking lashon hara about Jew number two. So you're saying, "Wow, is that?" And you start to think, "Wow, that Jew number two, he's a no goodnik." And the Rav Hirsch is saying, 1 second, before you start saying that the Jew number two is a no goodnik because of what Jew number one said about him, you should think into the source of who it is who's telling you that Jew number two is a no goodnik. Jew number one is the source of your information, and he himself, the Torah is you just heard with your own ears that he has committed a heinous crime of speaking lashon hara, and so that should trump his credibility completely, because you see that he violates what the Torah says. So why should he care what if the Torah says don't say a sheker? Maybe he violates that as well. So therefore, Rav Hirsch is explained the rationale for the prohibition of hearing these words. You shouldn't even listen to them. That's what he says. You should not listen to them, much less give the slightest credence to to his talk of what he says about Jew number two. Okay. Very good. 134. Alan, would you like to read for us?
Yes. Okay. For if you will listen to him and take what he says, then you will make yourself a partner in his crime. And as the sages point out, incur even greater guilt. For if men pledge themselves not to listen to any evil talk The evil speakers could cease of themselves. Thus, it is by listening to evil talk that you make tale-bearing possible. And if you give credence to it and let it affect your attitude to the person culminated, then you complete the crime of the culminator, for you bring to ripeness a seed of hatred which he tried to sow. And if you did not withdraw love and esteem from the victim, the crime of that culminator would evaporate in the attempt and would remain unfinished.
Hmm. What is that word? Calumniated.
Mm.
What does that mean?
Eliminated. That's a good question. Let's look it up. Hold on.
It's to insult somebody.
Oh, that's Jew number one is a calumniator. So the point here that Rav Hirsch is saying is that if Jew number three is going to listen to Jew number one talk about Jew number two, so then he is really the one who's responsible for Jew number one to continue to talk, and he is he's helping Jew number one for them to both complete the crime of speaking and listening to Lashon Hara. And so Rav Hirsch says if by the fact that Jew number three stands there and listens, he is the one who's making it possible for Jew number one to commit the crime. So he's actually causing Jew number one to commit the crime. He wouldn't be committing any crime if he wasn't Jew number three there listening to him speak. So this, in other words, and then he says something very important here at the end, very, very important. If you did not withdraw your love and esteem for Jew number two, the victim, so then the crime of Jew number one would evaporate in the attempt and would remain unfinished. What I find striking over here is that what Hirsch is saying is that when the minute Jew number three decides to continue to listen to Jew number one, he is showing a lack of love and esteem for Jew number two. So he's violating what it says to Haftarecha Kamocha when he continues to listen. It's his lack of love and esteem for Jew number two that he stands there and listens to what Jew number one has to say about him. Wow. Okay, section 135. We go to Meir.
Okay. If you are warned of designs which someone has on your property, your honor, your happiness, your life, prudence demands that you should guard yourself as if it were true, but go on thinking, esteeming, and loving as if it were completely false. This is required by the love and justice which, according to God's commandment, you owe to your neighbor, even in your mind and your heart.
Oh, okay. So now let's say that Jew number one is saying to Jew number three that Jew number two is trying to do something to take your property, or he's doing something to disparage your honor, Jew number two, your happiness, even your life. So you have to listen to what Jew number one is saying. You for your own good, you should be listening to what I have to say to you about Jew number two. I'm just saying it to protect you. So it's a toelis. There's a benefit in you hearing this. So therefore, you're allowed to continue to hear what this is in order to, because prudence demands that you guard yourself as if it was true what Jew number one is saying about Jew number two.
Wow.
Of course, you're not allowed to believe it. You're not allowed to believe it because that would be accepting lashon hara. If you believe what he says, that's accepting lashon hara.
Wow.
However, but prudence demands, he says, in the Torah advises really to take it into account and to keep it in mind in order to protect yourself. But nevertheless, Rav Hirsch says one has to continue to go on thinking and esteeming and loving Jew number two, and regarding what Jew number one said about him against you as being completely false. You're not allowed to believe it at all.
Huh.
And if you ask, why should I? Well, who says that I have to totally that I have to believe that it's false? He says this is required by the love and justice which, according to Hashem's commandment, you owe to your neighbor. That's called the mitzvah of v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. So again, even though you're allowed to hear it because you're hearing it in order to take it into account and protect yourself. You're allowed to protect yourself from a possibility that you hear that somebody might be coming to harm you. This is the story with Gedaliah, and the whole story of that they came to warn Gedaliah that there was those that were coming to do harm to him, but he didn't take it into account. But nevertheless, v'ahavta l'reacha kamocha demands that you not believe what is said, and you have to continue to hold this Jew in your heart, Jew number two, with love and respect. Okay. Very good. And we completed chapter 19.
Wow.
And now we're up to chapter 20. Dun l'kaf skus. Okay.
20.
Okay, Lou, you want to start?
In righteousness shalt thou judge thy neighbor.
Right, we know this pasuk. B'tzedek tishbot es amisecha. Oh, he says like neighbor. I thought it said amisecha in the pasuk. Let me just check.
Amisecha is what, your nation, your people?
Yeah. 19:15. And just have the Vayikra right here. Let me see.
1915. Mishpatim.
B'tzedek tishbot amisecha. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, that's what Rashi says. Now I think it's in plural. If it would be plural, like your okay, interesting. Maybe we mean to say a person, a fellow of your people. What does the Unclus say? Oh, Unclus translates like Rev Hirsch once again. Bakushta to dine lechavrach, with kushta, with truth. You should judge your chaver. So that's the way Unclus translates this word amisecha, lechavrach, your neighbor, your friend, your fellow. Okay. And Rashi says, kamash ma'o, as it sounds, talking about the individual. Okay, very good. Okay, 136, Lou, please.
The obligations which this command imposes on the judge belong to mishpatim. Here we shall derive shall derive from it an important duty for everyone and for everyday life.
Ah. Oh. Okay. Reverse seems to be saying that the pasuk is really talking about a command to a judge, not to a private individual. But we learn out from that pasuk to every, like he says, for everybody and for everyday life. Okay, we'll leave it at that, and we'll go on to 137 to Alan, please.
Why are we so quick to judge our neighbor on the strength of a mere rumor without hearing the man himself, without first calmly considering all the possibilities We cast the stone of reprobation against our neighbor and kill in our hearts the esteem and love to which he is entitled. This is part of like love thy neighbor, right? Yeah. You should judge him, but also you should love him.
On the strength of faith. Yeah, very important what he says over here without hearing the man himself. What would Jew number 2 say about what Jew number 1 is saying about him? What's his side of the story? So when somebody listens to Lashon Hora, he's basically acting as a judge who's hearing one party to the case, and he's making his judgment about the case without hearing the other side's story and the other side's story about the case.
Mm.
So that's a judge is not allowed to do that. He's not allowed to hear the one side without even the second side being there. They both have to be standing in front of him before either one of them opens up his mouth. So we should pattern our. We should. If somebody starts talking about Jew number 1 starts talking about Jew number 2 to Jew number 3. Jew number 3 should say, "1 second, 1 second. Let's get Jew number 2 over here and before you tell me anything about Jew number 2 and see see see." Sometimes he will continue. He says, "Yeah, bring him over." so it's not. It doesn't. It's not. It's not a. It's not a accurate. It's not an accurate. I can't. You're not allowed to listen to it anyway. Period. But okay. And again, Rev Hirsch mentions we were so quick to judge the case against Jew number 2, even before Jew number 2 can defend himself against the charge, and thereby kill in our hearts the esteem and love that Jew number 2 is entitled to from us. So okay. 138. We go to Meir.
Okay. It says, not, however, if you pay proper heed to this injunction, you will retain your good opinion of your neighbor unimpaired until his guilt is irrefutably proved and shown to admit of no excuse. Nay, even if you see him sin with your own eyes, or if credible witnesses testify to his guilt, you are not the judge. For you, justice in this case means love. And in this love, he finds his most trusty advocate who excuses his act wherever possible, or at least looks for mitigating circumstances. Be circumspect in judgment. Take always the more favorable view. These are utterances of the sages, which assure life and welfare. And even if you have been deceived sevenfold, even if you have made a mistake 100 times, yet never depart from this rule in judgment. Better that 100 should be judged to favorably than that one should be wronged in judgment. You may never be able to forgive yourself for having judged even a single man too harshly in your thoughts.
Wow. Amazing.
That is powerful.
That is quite powerful. Wow. Better that 100 should be judged too favorably and that one should be wronged in judgment. Because that's what a person will say, says Reb Hirsch. Says, I judged him favorably, and it turned out not to be correct. I really found out later on that he was really was a no-goodnik, right? So Reb Hirsch says to you, listen, you found out that he's a no-goodnik. Better 100 times you judge too favorably, meaning you made a mistake. Too favorably means that you made a mistake, right? Better you made 100 mistakes than you made a mistake, one mistake in judging him too harshly. That's the Torah standard.
Wow.
Like we said before, if it pertains to you personally, to protect yourself, so then you're allowed to take it into account, of course, but you're still not allowed to believe it. You're allowed to take it into account in order to protect, in order to listen to what is being said to you, so you protect yourself. But otherwise, you judge too favorably 100 times before you judge unfavorably, incorrectly, even once. Okay. Wow. Very good. And look at that. We've completed section 1. 20 chapters of section 1, Torot. A round of applause.
Hooray!
Wow. Unbelievable. Okay, so very interesting. All of the different topics and subjects that Rav Hirsch put into this first chapter, into this first section of Torot. In other words, I guess he understands that these are all the foundationary perspectives that the Torah teaches us. There were over here 20 of them. 20 foundational Torah perspectives that are called Torot. And now we turn to section 2, Edut.
He gives the definition at the bottom of the page.
Okay. In 19 letters, Rav Hirsch defines Edut as symbolic observances, monuments, or testimonies to truths essential to the concept of the mission of man and of Israel. These testimonies are symbolic words or actions which convey a lesson to the individual Jew, collective Israel, or mankind in general. Okay. So, number 21, prohibition of work on Shabbos. Oh, we have a whole slew of psukim over here. We have a page and a half of psukim. Oh boy. Okay. Should we start with 2 minutes left? Now it's 1 minute left. Okay.
I don't think we should read all of them, but we could read for a minute.
Okay. Please read.
There was evening and there was morning, the 6th day. And the heaven and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the 7th day, God finished his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because that in it he rested from all his work which God had created in order to complete it. You shall observe my Sabbaths and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. 6 days thou shalt labor and do all thy work. I don't know why it splits my page.
One's from Exodus, one's from Deuteronomy.
Oh, it's showing you it's comparing them. I see. But the seventh day is a Sabbath unto the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt not do any manner of work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, nor thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. I think our time is up.
Okay, very good.
Shkoyach.
Koyach to everybody. Very good. Wow. Baruch Hashem. So a great day to Mayor.
Thank you so much.
All the best and a good Shabbos.
And good Shabbos to all, and have a great day.